Infinix say the future is now, and this is their latest phone, the Infinix Note 40 Pro Plus 5G. In this video, I'm going to unbox it, give you guys my first impressions of the design, show you all of the key features that you need to know about, and I'll also be doing some benchmarks so we can see how this performs under pressure and to give you guys a better idea of how it handles the heat. We will get a closer look at it with some Predator vision. I'll also do a quick gaming test to see how it handles the higher frame rates, and I'll show you guys some camera samples. So this is something we don't see that often. The entire specs of the device on the phone, even this small print down here, is all of the camera specs, and everything else is pretty crazy. But the standout specs here is of course that charging speed, 100 watts, all round fast charge 2.0. They're using their new Cheetah X1 chip that's designed to manage the charging speeds more safely and efficiently, and the operating system straight out of the box is Android 14, and it does have 2 years of Android updates and 3 years of security updates. So Infinix do throw in a curved glass screen protector. It feels quite premium, and it's got the black borders all the way around the edge, which is quite nice to see. There's also a little cleaning accessory kit here, and this is a specially designed magnetic case which allows this phone to work with pretty much any MagSafe accessory, but Infinix do sell their own. For example, this one, the Mag Pad, and they even throw in a little sticker pack here, and this splash proof icon is in reference to the IP53 rating that this phone has. So here we have the phone itself, and you'll notice straight away the curved edge on this display, and when we turn it around, this is quite a unique feature. We'll come back to that in a minute. The back of the device here is a kind of faux leather, and I do like the color. The green and the gold contrast really nicely. The camera module looks nice and premium. The Infinix branding is quite subtle, which is nice. The frame itself looks like metal, but it's actually plastic, but it's not something you're going to notice straight away. And this phone is actually surprisingly thin and light. The weight on this is just 190 grams. And my first impressions are this reminds me quite a lot of the Vivo V30 series. Anyway, let's see how this case fits and how the phone looks with the case on. Clicks on nice and easily. It's got a good amount of reinforcement on the corners of the device, which is really nice to see. On the base of the phone, we've got a speaker grill, USB-C 2.2, and a SIM tray, which is actually protected by the case when it's on. On the top of the device, we have what appears to be another speaker, an infrared blaster, and a microphone. Of course, we have the Infinix 100 watt charger, USB-C, 2-pin European version, and a USB-C to C charging cable. I do think in some places around the world you will get some headphones with this, but not with this one. Now let's get a look at this Mag Pad accessory. So this is a magnetic charging connector, and it charges at 15 watts, and you can see there the USB-C cable plugs into it, and that should just magnetize to the back of the case. And it is pretty strong, so I can hold the phone by that. There's even a little LED light on the end there to let you know when it's actually receiving a charge. So something that Infinix are very proud of with this phone is the charging capabilities. And something that's pretty cool about this is the hypercharge mode. With just 5 minutes of charge, they say you can get up to 6.8 hours of video playback. That's pretty impressive. And you can get from 0 to 50% battery in just 8 minutes. Now, something that's quite commonly seen on budget smartphones is a ton of bloatware. And this is just one of the ways they can keep the cost of the phone down. They basically sell advertising space on the device. And the Infinix Note 40 Pro Plus is no different. But one of the good things about it is the fact that you can uninstall all of it if it bothers you that much. Some phones actually lock it in place so you can't get rid of it. You won't find that here on this device. When you dive into the charging settings, you'll notice there is a smart charge mode. This strikes a balance between speed and temperature, because phones do heat up when you rapid charge them. So this just protects that battery so you don't shorten its lifespan. And reverse wireless charging is possible here as well. So if you have earbuds or another phone or a smartwatch, you can reverse charge off the back of this device. This is something we don't often see on budget smartphones. Another very useful charging feature that this phone has is perfect for gamers. It is the bypass charging. So this is where you can wire in the phone to the power, and it won't actually charge the battery. It will just keep the phone running without using the battery itself. So this allows the phone to stay cooler for longer, and at the same time you don't end up draining your battery whilst gaming. Okay, so now I'm going to do a gaming test on this with PubG. I'm going to play one battle royale, which, as you know, if you've played this game, is quite a long gaming session. And then we'll get a look with the Predator Vision at how the heat is handled on this device. Infinix say the vapor cooling chamber size has increased by 30%. There's 11 layers of cooling materials beneath the surface of this phone. So let's see how effective that is. Anyway, let's see what kind of settings we can run here on PubG. Go into graphics. Unfortunately, HDR is not supported by PubG just yet, which is a shame because this does support HDR. The frame rate set to the highest it can be. Let's hope it maxes out at that 120 frames. Scroll down. I'm going to turn the anti-aliasing up to 4. Shadows enabled, brightness and all that kind of stuff's locked in. So there's a really nice feature here from Infinix called X-Boost. So when you drag out the little side window here, you have a bunch of different options. The most notable one is the ability to turn the performance all the way up, which is what I'll do now. And also, when you go to gameplay add-ons, there's the magic button. So this allows you to map the volume up, volume down to a point on the screen. So for example, if I map the volume up to the look down sight, that could be very, very useful. So I have to do that once we're in the game. So these games can normally run for way over 20 minutes. So I'm just going to edit this to just the best bits for you guys, and then we'll get a look at the thermals. So everything looks really nice right now. The chip in this phone is the MediaTek 7020. It's a mid-tier chipset, 6 nanometer, pretty efficient. The RAM is LPDDR4X, and there's 12 gigs of it in here. And you can use RAM expansion to expand it using the onboard storage, which is 256 gig, to 24 gig of RAM, which is pretty crazy on a mid-tier smartphone. Got one. There's another dude up there. Damn, I'm gonna get the shotgun. Got another one. Haha. Now might be a good time to map the button. So we're going to go to gameplay add-ons, magic button, volume up, and I'm going to map it to the look down sight. Just drag this over here. There we go. So now when I push the volume up, I can look down sight very, very quickly. So far I've not noticed any frame drops or anything like that. Everything's looking pretty smooth. Oh, there's a car coming. Oh, shot one off the back of the car. Got him. The mappable key has proven to be very handy in this game. So, when it comes to gaming, this phone ain't bad at all, even though it's not running the full HDR and all that kind of stuff. Audio is good, touch responsiveness is good, graphics look good, very smooth gameplay overall. Now let's see how it performed in regards to thermals. I have been playing for 30 minutes now. Okay, so here are the thermal readings on the Infinix Pro Plus after 30 minutes of pretty intensive gaming. And you can see here, the center of the device is pretty cool. It stays at around 36.4 degrees. The top right corner, which must be where the chipset is 38.6 degrees, which is also pretty good because typically anything over 39, 40 degrees, you start to see performance throttling, but it's managed to keep below that all the way through the gameplay. And you'll notice the heat kind of dissipates down and you can kind of see how the layers cascade there and the heat escapes the device. So overall, I'm pretty impressed with the thermal performance here on the Infinix Note 40 Pro Plus. So what I'm going to do now is run the Slingshot Extreme benchmark test on this to see how it stacks up. Okay, so here are the results of the Slingshot Extreme OpenGL ES 3.1 benchmark test. The overall score 132, and that might not mean a whole lot to you, but this should make things a bit easier. When we scroll down, you'll see the performance monitoring score here. So the battery level dropped by 1%, the temperature of the device increased by 1%, and the average frame rates ranged from 5 frames per second when it was really pushed all the way up to 66 frames per second. And you can see on the graph at the bottom here how the frame rates dropped off on the second graphics test. That's where it really ramped up the graphics and things like that. So in the middle ground, it performs the best. When really pushed, it will drop down on frame rates. So it's not too bad, it's reasonable. And as you just saw in the gameplay test, it's more than adequate to win a few games with. So let's talk about the display on this thing, the Infinix Note 40 Pro Plus. Something that's really nice about this phone, unlike a lot of other budget phones, is actually the bezel at the bottom, the chin, is actually very thin. Quite often we see quite a thick bezel there, and then thin everywhere else. This one has a 2.2mm bezel at the bottom, and the overall screen to body ratio on this one is 93.8%, which is very good. The glass on top is 5th generation Gorilla Glass, which is nice and durable and scratch resistant. And don't forget, they do throw in that screen protector if you're worried about that kind of thing. Peak brightness on this is 1300 nits. The screen size is 6.78 inches. It is Full HD Plus, 1080 by 2436. Refresh rate 120 Hz, contrast ratio 5 million to 1, and it does have PWM dimming, which reduces the amount of screen flicker that can cause eye fatigue. And beneath the screen is an optical fingerprint reader, and at the top we do have that punch hole for the 32 megapixel selfie camera. Okay, before you go, there's 3 more very important features you need to know about this phone if you're looking around for a budget smartphone but with fantastic AI. This one actually has Pholax. So Pholax is Infinix's own version of AI, but actually it piggybacks on ChatGPT. So essentially you can have a conversation with this thing. You can get it to write content for you. Write a video script for Infinix Note 40 Pro Plus review.
The Infinix Note 40 Pro 5G features a triple camera setup comprising a 108MP OIS primary sensor and a couple of 2MP snappers for depth and macro. For selfies and video calling, the handset is assisted by a 3.2MP shooter. This setup consists of a 108MP main sense, 1.75, a 2MP macro lens, 2.4, and a 2MP depth sense, 2.4. As for video capabilities, the main camera can shoot up to 2K at 30 FPS and 1080p at 30 and 60 FPS upfront.
Also, when you dive into the settings and you go to personalization, you can generate AI wallpapers. We see this on the Google Pixel, and it is here on the Infinix. So if you want to, you can create something truly unique. It's really not that bad, first attempt. Something else that's quite unique about this phone is the LED light here. So we have the LED ring light, which is used as a flash, but also that center part there, they call it the active halo lighting. And you can see here, it's enabled right now. The lighting effects can be customized to these different colors. Also, you can change the way that it works. You can set this up to glow like this whenever you receive certain notifications. Something else that stands out as being very good on this phone is the speakers. And you'll notice it's even got the JBL branding here at the top. The top edge speaker isn't quite as loud as the lower edge, but the stereo audio when gaming is pretty useful. You can tell where gunshots are coming from. Hopefully you heard that in action when I was doing the gaming test. So that's been the Infinix Note 40 Pro Plus 5G. If you haven't seen it in your country, that's because the brand is fairly new. They've been around since 2013. They now sell this phone in 70 plus countries around the world, quite predominantly in Asia and Africa. And if you do want to pick one of these up here in the UK, the price point on this is around £320. And that does actually put it in line with the mystery phone in my most recent camera comparison, which I put up against 2 phones that cost 3 times the price. And if you guys want to check out that camera comparison to find out what that mystery phone is, That thumbnail's on screen right now. I appreciate you guys for watching this one. Let me know what you think of this phone in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't be late.